right, welcome everybody. You are looking live in Northern Virginia for another edition of Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us. It feels like a month of Sundays since I've been here to discuss the world of burgundy and gold of the Redskins, as well as anything DC sports related. But here I am. A newly crowned champion. Yep, that's right. That's right. If I had a hat on, you might mistake me for some, baseball player that plays for the Nationals. But I digress. We'll get into that a little bit later on the show. Listen, we've got a lot to cover. Like I said, it's been quite a while since I've been with you guys. I appreciate all of your support and everybody watching the show in my absence. Much appreciated. Let's get right to this thing. Okay, listen. I think the last time I joined you, we were just getting over the firing of Jay Gruden. Now we have another era about to begin in Washington, D.C., which is the Dwayne Haskins era. So that thing is it's finally about to kick off. But what took it so long? We're going to delve into that later on in the show. Obviously, it's not where the Redskins wanted to be, but we are where we are. So we also have to talk about that, because it's why are they where they are now? Does that make any sense whatsoever? Probably not, but we'll talk about it later on in the show. I want everybody to send in what's your grade on Dwayne Haskins thus far? He's a couple games in, one game in as a starter, a couple games in relief of either an injured or benched Case Keenum. What are your grades for Dwayne Haskins? I have some, and I wanted to get some of your thoughts. We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. Also, the Redskins are getting back a key player. No, it's not Trent Williams. We'll talk about that as well. Speaking of Trent, hi. Bye. Unfortunately, obviously not where the Redskins wanted to be, but anyway, we got to talk about let's do some, as Bill Callahan would say, self-scouting. We need to do some self-scouting with this team, as well as our fandom. We need to just ask ourselves, just how bad is this team? Let's just put it out there. I mean, honestly, just how bad is this team? We'll talk about that coming up later on in the show. We'll go around the NFL. We got to find out. I want to talk about a couple of different games. Shocking, surprising, not surprising at all. Plus, I have not had my chance to react to other things that have happened in DC sports. I want to dive deep into that as well here on the Redskins Relaunch. But, it's a party. Look, if you party, I'm a party. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have none, right? So we're just going to have a big old party in a parade. But we may end up stopping it short for some different people and teams and things like that. So it is what it is. College basketball season is underway. We'll talk about the Terps as well as the Hoyas. I was actually at the Hoyas game on Saturday. Didn't play bad, didn't play great, but their season opener was a dud, even though they showed a lot of heart coming back. We'll talk about that later on in the show. But first, it's Redskins Relaunch. Listen, we got to talk about the Redskins and the burgundy and gold. Again, like I said, I'm happy to be back. I've missed each and every one of you. Again, thank you very much for all your support and watching the show while in my absence. I know it was in good hands with my man Nick and everybody here at DMVSTREAM.COM. Nick, what's going on, man? You're here with me hitting the switches over there.
Yep. Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody watching. Like you said, appreciate the opportunity. Thought we had two good shows, and looking to build off at this time. Feel like we have an even better one coming up.
All right. Well said. It's finally happened. The Redskins are coming off a bye week after their loss to Buffalo. They face another AFC East team, probably a team they're in contention for as far as positioning for the draft. Okay, let's not get this twisted. It's either a point of, you want to build morale, you want to build confidence in a young quarterback, or you want to raise your draft stock or your draft grade or your draft status, which would be, look, if we're going to tank, let's tank. Let's tank it all the way. I'm not saying that's happening now, but, there are different ways to look at what's happening to the Redskins this season. The Haskins era is underway. We've got to talk about Mr. Dwayne Haskins. First off, here's Bill Callahan talking about the decision, basically naming Haskins his starter. This was Bill Callahan on Monday.
I think it's a great challenge for him. It's a huge test, and it's a great test for Dwayne, as it is for all of us. So first things first, let's get him protected up, getting in the heat of the preparation, and really intensifying the preparation is a huge part of quarterback play in the NFL. And not only that, but the ability to execute under pressure. So, those did pretty well, getting ready for Buffalo. And we're working forward to improve upon that as we go into the Jet game.
They haven't thrown up on themselves yet in that aspect. But this is not a good football team right now, unfortunately. You do have your rookie quarterback playing. You have your linemen who are, they're not really good right now, and that's okay. We knew that coming in once Trent decided he was going to hold out. You're basically stopgapping, until you can get either Jaron Christian ready or, find somebody else via free agency or another draft pick, obviously a high draft pick coming up this season. So, so here comes Dwayne. And I wanted to grade him in a second. But, what we haven't said right here on the show is that, we've said this before, Nick. We've said we don't necessarily want Dwayne Haskins to play because it means one of two things. And I talked about it earlier with Sterling Blunt, not Sterling Brown, but Sterling Blunt on this show. Nick, would you mind rolling that for me? Yes, sir. Who is going to start? Who do you think is going to start?
I think when you go and you take a quarterback in the first round, that's the guy you got to start.
Wow. Okay. Even if I don't know if you are. Similar to Lamar, he did have that time on the bench in order to kind of learn the ways. So it might not be a bad thing. Whereas if you see Dwayne or Haskins coming off of the bench, say week 6, 7, or 8, that might not be a bad thing as far as his development as a quarterback, as an NFL quarterback, not just a quarterback. But if you're going to be a quarterback, you better be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah. So if it comes to his development, you have him on the bench. I think if they don't start him and they end up bringing him in, it's because the Redskins are doing bad. If McCoy or Keenum start and they're doing well, Haskins is going to keep sitting. Absolutely. So if we get to the point where they're bringing him in, the Redskins season is already downhill.
Maybe not. Let's think optimistically where, it's like a 40-19 game and they're bringing in Dwayne for mop-up duty.
Hey,
let's hope. We can cross our fingers. Keep hope alive.
McCoy and Keenum have shown everybody. They're kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick. You get him in 4 or 5 games, he'll spark you.
Yes.
Past that, he's a liability.
Yeah. Oh, that was so long ago. I mean, we're talking about, we had the whole thing happening here. Sterling had the high top fade happening, but regardless, basically exactly what we said. If Haskins is playing, that's not necessarily a great thing. It could be a good or a bad thing. Great thing is that, maybe he has improved so much or he played so well and that he basically took the job from Case Keenum and Colt McCoy. That did not happen. The second option did happen, however, and that was that the team was just absolute garbage and he was going to be needed to come in and basically show and prove. We need to see what this kid has. And at this point, that's where we are at this point in the season, is that we need to see what he has because basically this season is lost. We're good. It's done. Not done, but I mean, listen, if Dwayne ends up, ends up with a 7-game win streak or something like that, I mean, people will take it, or maybe some of you will take it. Maybe that's a great question that we'll put out there on Periscope right now is that, say, for instance, Dwayne Haskins ends up, leading this team to a 7-game win streak. Would you be pleased with that? Would you like that? Players would. I know that. Coaches would. Owners would. But, well, maybe not the owners. I don't know, the front office. But would you like that? Do you like that? Would you like that? There are a lot of different philosophies as far as this is concerned. You have your rookie quarterback playing. Your team is not as talented as you thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. You've already wasted an opportunity to get rid of primetime talent via the trade deadline. So at this point, you might be in a case where you are tanking. I know that's a bad word. It's like the 7 bad words that George Carlin always used to talk about. But, at this point, we might be there. So, oh boy. But, there's always a positive to everything, okay? And I always tend to look at things that are positive. So here we are. Castings is not playing the best terms, team stings, but you do have Haskins, Geis, who's coming back this weekend, and McLaurin. Allen Payne, there's some building blocks there for this Redskins team. So, listen, we're going to take a break. We're going to talk to Redskin Insider next as we come back on Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry. This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
We're live.
8, 9, 10.
Okay.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign.
All right, welcome back to Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, we're talking about the Redskins and Dwayne Haskins. The Haskins era is finally underway. I guess our question is, are you ready for the Haskins era to begin? Or is he ready? Is he ready? And what really took so long? It was a couple of weeks where he could have been named the starter. Even under former head coach Jay Gruden, could have been named the starter. But we are at this point, we're here at this point now. But did it take too long for the Redskins to finally make that decision? All right, joining us now is the CEO, founder, creator, editor-in-chief of thesportsjourney.com. You can find him all over the place, and he has a special event coming up later on this week, a special event in Tyson's. Lake Lewis joins us right now. Lake, how you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, my friend? How you doing?
I'm always good, always fantastic. All right, first off, tell us about what's going on Friday.
Well, actually, it's going to be, I have my podcast, and every other Friday, I actually do a live event of it where people can come out and check us out. And it's myself and Morgan Moses, host with me, my show, and decided to bring out some guests, some teammates of his or some other local DC athletes. And this Friday, we'll be at the Sport Nation. They have 3 stores, one in Springfield, Virginia, one in Tyson's Corner Mall, and one in Dulles Town Center. So we actually will be back at the Dulles Town Center Mall on Friday. And, my 2 special guests along with Morgan and myself are Adrian Peterson and Ricky Irvin. So we're excited about it.
All right, sounds good. Ricky's my guy, man. Ever since
That's
he was
my dude, man.
since his days at USC. Matter of fact, one of the first Redskins jerseys that I ever purchased was a Ricky Irvin's Mitchell and Ness special edition, 1994 Redskins. Oh yeah. I'm going back that far. The white with the old school Redskin. Oh, I mean, it's a pure beauty. Matter of fact, I might wear it next week. In any event, let's get to Dwayne Haskins. I started off by asking a lot of our viewers and watchers, are you ready for the Dwayne Haskins era? Is he ready for the Dwayne Haskins era, and what took so long?
I think the team I guess they wanted him to just be better prepared for the opportunity. I also think that there was some fear in putting him out there and having him fail, so that's not a bad thing. But I also think that no one has told me this, but I do believe in that building. If there was a truth serum given to some upstairs, it would be the RG3 effect.
Yes.
How that didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. So perhaps 6-7 years later, that's reared its head in Dwayne Haskins as far as, do they rush him out there? Do they give him the keys to the city too soon? Well, whatever the issue is, they named him the starter for the rest of the year. And I've been saying all along that they needed to do that and do it ASAP because, he looked so much better against Buffalo having a full week of starting reps.
Yes.
And, you can't deny what your eyes saw. He looked more comfortable, if anything. And now to have basically 2 weeks of practice because of the bye, 2 weeks of preparation, for him as the starter, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does against another really good defense, by the way. The Jets may be 1-7 on the year, but their defense is one of the best run-stuffing defenses, and that's what the Redskins are doing well now is running the ball, so something's got to give Sunday. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Haskins and the Redskins as a whole can do.
I alluded to that. I told a lot of people, including, our colleague, Robert Burton, ABC7 Sports. I said it may be the RG3 effect. The guy comes in, rookie, takes the league by storm, and then gets injured and is no more, here, quote, unquote, no more good. No more good. Right. So it may be one of those instances where they want to kind of wait out a year, do more or less the Pat Mahomes sort of tutelage. But the problem is that there's nobody in this besides Alex Smith, and although he's not playing, but there's nobody in the building that has that cachet to teach Dwayne, the position of quarterbacking, like say an Aaron Rodgers did, or Pat Mahomes did, or even at this point Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and I say that to people all the time when they start naming these great quarterbacks, and even Tom Brady for that instance.
Yes,
was Drew Bledsoe's backup. Let's call it like it is. If Bledsoe didn't get knocked out in that game, and I think in week 6 or whatever of that regular season, we may not know. We may not know Tom Brady as we know him now.
Absolutely.
So, it's to each his own. It's different scenarios on different teams. My argument has always been, though, this team we've seen with our own eyes this year has been bad. Yeah. So you can't get any worse on offense than what they were doing. And especially now that Bill Callahan's been named the interim coach, ever since he's come in, they've run the ball down people's throats. They force-fed the run as opposed to just do it to do it. That's what they do now. They're a running football team, and he said that in his first press conference with us as the interim coach. I want to make us known as a running football team. Well, he's done that, so why couldn't you have had the rookie hand the ball off? So, I mean, it's water over the bridge now. It is what it is. I hate to keep coming up with all these cliches. He's been named the starter now for the rest of the year. I think if he can continue to grow and improve each week, I'm not looking for him to put up 3-4 touchdowns a game. I mean, not even in the slightest. I'm looking for him to just get better, and not just him, but I'd like to see him be able to develop some kind of chemistry in game situations. Obviously, Terry McLaurin is his old teammate at Ohio State, so I want to see them have more of a connection as we go forward. And I also want to see a young guy like Steven Sims get a real good opportunity and shot, because I think he should be their starting slot guy anyway.
Yes, yeah.
Kelvin Harmon, another young player that I think we need to see a little bit more of, and not just in run situations, because he's a really good run blocking wide receiver. It's almost like they're labeling him now as that. Give him an opportunity to go up and make some plays like we saw him doing in the preseason. And I think those are some young pieces that Haskins can really play with. And then, of course, Darius Geis will be back Sunday. So it's going to be interesting to see some of the younger guys just start to get their feet wet, over the second half of the season. And hopefully some positive stuff can happen that can, give them an off season of optimism heading into next year.
That was my next question. Do you think they'll finally open up this offense, the playbook for Dwayne? Because that was the thing against Buffalo. It was very, it wasn't even vanilla. It was more or less like a watered offense. Do you think they finally give Dwayne the full keys? Don't give him the keys to the Honda Civic when he has the Lamborghini in the garage.
No, not at all. This is a complicated playbook that the Redskins have. It's one of the most intricate ones in the NFL. That's a fact.
All right.
Sometimes I think it's been for their detriment, to be honest.
I was about to say that, and that would be my pushback. Well, if that is the case, you have a rookie quarterback. Why are we doing algebra when we should just be doing, or not even that? Why are we doing trigonometry when we could just be doing simple algebra?
Well, and I think they're going to do that for Dwayne. I do. I think he wants to get the full playbook, but the thing is that I think some of that playbook didn't need to be in plays didn't need to be in the playbook.
Right.
I mean, some of the stuff that they do is very predictable. That's probably the best way I can say it. And again, when you bring in a Kelvin Harmon, they're going to run the football. It's quite apparent what they're doing. When you bring in Chris Thompson, you knew that they were going to pass the football.
Exactly.
Or if they did try to surprise you with a run, they're running him right up the gut of a defense, the smallest man on the field. So I never understood some of the theories on why they do what they do. But again, it's why we are in media and they're coaching. But I feel like with Dwayne, give him some plays that he runs well. Give him some plays that he can do some things. And I know, like today at practice, it's really cold. The wind was biting, and in drills, he just threw this ball at least 50 yards. Just flung his, flicked his wrist. The ball cut through everything. Hit his receiver 50 yards down, and it was just like people don't realize this guy's got a lot of tools.
Yes.
It's just he's young. He's 22 years old. You've got to get him prepared. You've got to get him coached up properly. And that's what I keep telling fans who are calling him a bust. I mean, are you serious? That's pretty asinine, honestly. And it bothers me quite a bit because you can't say someone that you've gotten one game as a starter sample size, and he played okay in that game against a pretty good defense. Where's the bust label coming from? They made a conscious decision to not play him early. They wanted to get him in, and they had some veteran quarterbacks they needed to appease. Just call it like it is.
Yeah.
So now it's his time. If at the end of this year he doesn't look like he's making any kind of progress and he's struggling to call plays, get the ball out on time, I still wouldn't even call him a bust. I'd just say he needs to work harder in the offseason. But I don't think we're going to see that. I actually think we're going to see him be successful. And successful doesn't necessarily mean, like I said, 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. It could be 150 to 200 yards, but he's not turning the ball over.
Right.
And the team is competitive and having chances to win games, or if not, be close to winning a game. I would consider that a success for Dwayne Haskins.
I would 1,000% agree with you. If he could just, basically some people would say if he doesn't just basically throw up on himself, he should be okay. And at this point, with a rookie quarterback, with an offense that's, as you said, and a lot of people have said is very intricate, at this point, you would just take a not throwing up on yourself game and maybe very competitive, and that is a success. One last thing before I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I agree with you 100% on that.
Okay. Last thing I want to do before I let you get out of here, Trent Williams. You thought we were done with Trent. I haven't been on this show in a while, so this is my first chance to talk about Trent. Oh boy. Okay, so what is the latest? What's the latest that you've heard about this situation, other than the hearsay back and forth?
He's done here. Listen, I mean, Trent's done. I mean, he the only possible scenario that could bring Trent Williams back is if Bruce Allen and a doctor are out of here. Just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening. I just don't. Well, let me rephrase that. Not because of Trent alone. I do think that there is some legs that are going to start to grow about Bruce, that something could happen. And I do mean that, because one thing that we, with Dan Snyder over the years is that he doesn't do knee-jerk reactions just like that, but he does do reactions.
Yeah. Yes.
And if it's built itself up so much, because you remember, there was no way Shanahan was going to get fired at one point. And then all of a sudden it just built up, and they got fired. They got rid of him and his son. That looks like it's kind of backfired.
I was about to say, that turned out great, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it did, because, you got rid of Matt LaFleur, you got rid of Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, all these guys at one point were on the same staff, and, so little things like that, you've seen Dan Snyder and Vinny Serrato, you've seen it build up to the point where the fans were at a fever pitch, and yeah, he does react afterwards, so it's not right away. I'm not saying it's a knee-jerk reaction where, okay, you don't like this, the fans boo this player or this coach or this administrator, and then day later the guy's out of there. No, Dan doesn't do that. But it's not like he's tone deaf and he's not listening. He'll let it build up, and it may not be as urgent and as soon as some fans want it to be, but ultimately I've seen him make those moves. And I would not be surprised if Bruce is repositioned in the organization, if not just flat out fired. I wouldn't be surprised. And just having talked to some folks, that's something to keep your eye on as the season heads towards that final game in Dallas.
That's interesting. I know there are a lot of praying hands on social media right now, just begging for that to happen. Nobody's going to basically agree with what the Redskins did in putting Trent on the NFI, but is there anything else that the Redskins could have done?
Of course, they could have. The protected the growth on his head a couple years ago.
That would have
I
helped.
mean,
Yes.
yeah, that would have helped. I mean, hearing what he's saying. Listen, is Trent negligent in a little bit as far as just not going to another doctor or another source? Maybe so.
Yep.
But you can't get mad at an athlete for trusting the doctors who are basically handling his well-being, in house. I mean, if I'm told that the doctors in my insurance plan, that I go to is one of the best, or just one of the leaders in their field, why do I need to see someone else? I mean, that's just a mentality that some people have, and some people don't. Some people get in denial of hearing something, and they still want third, fourth opinions, and they're probably told the same exact thing. So it's to each his own. But in his situation, I don't think there's anything wrong with trusting the people who are entrusted to take care of you. But have it happen over a couple of years, myself, I probably would have stepped out of pocket. But that doesn't make my way right and his wrong. So anyway, I think with Trent, we've seen the end of Trent playing as a Washington Redskin, and it's unfortunate because he was their best player, their most talented player, and the irony is that their two most talented players, I mean, just from a sheer dominance standpoint, there is no question that it was Trent Williams 1 and Jordan Reed 2.
Yep.
And both of them more than likely will never play as a Washington Redskins, player, because of medical issues, medical concerns now. So it's sad.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've always said this. I've said this from the beginning. If those Trent complaints were what they were, and they were even 10% true or valid, you have to take a serious look at it, and I kind of blame the team for not doing so. Lake, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much, buddy. I will catch you again next time. Maybe see you on the practice field here coming up at Redskins Park pretty soon.
All right, my friend. I appreciate it.
And
Take care now.
And good luck on your event on Friday with Momo and Adrian Peterson and Mr. Ricky Irvins.
I appreciate it. I plan on us having a lot of fun. If you're listening, come on out. We'll have a good time.
All right. Thank you very much. Lake Lewis of SportsJourney.com. He's always the best. He's just the best. I thank him very much. He comes out with a lot of Redskins content there at practice all the time. Basically lives at Redskins Park. So we thank him for his time and his analysis on the Redskins, as well as Haskins and Trent Williams. Like I said before, to Lake, look, if you had put yourself in Trent's shoes. If you had a doctor tell you, "Oh no, it's fine," and then come to find out it's not fine, would you be upset? Let's be serious. You would be highly upset. Just like Lake said, he'd be out of pocket. I'd be out of pocket. You'd be out of pocket as well. Let's not. The team has done a very good job of painting Trent as the bad guy here in this situation. Why? This is a man's health. When a doctor tells you to put your affairs in order and start worrying about your kids in the future, well, what do you exactly think is going to go through your mind? But, it is what it is. That might be the theme of the show today, Nick. It's like, it is what it is. All right, look, we got to take a break. I'm going to give some Dwayne Haskins grades. After the break, we'll also go around the NFL. We also got some more DMV sports coming up later in the show. This is Redskins Relaunch. I'm your host, Winston Hylton. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia. A member of the American Dental Association, the Northern Virginia Dental Society, and the Virginia Dental Society, Price is considered an expert in Invisalign and continues to be an award-winning innovator in the industry.
Thank you very much. You can join me at Sports Talk NC8 on Twitter. We are live right now on Periscope. For those expecting to watch on Facebook, I apologize. We had some issues tonight. We will get through those issues. We'll start talking. We'll hopefully get up again next week on Facebook. So thank you for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Okay, wanted to go through some grades of Dwayne Haskins. Look, He's had a relief appearance against the Giants. He's had a relief appearance against the Vikings. He's had a start against Buffalo, and he will have his first home start here at FedEx Field against the Jets. He talked today to the media. Here are a couple of different things that he had to say. Nick, if you wouldn't mind playing that for us.
Yeah, it's a growing process. You can ask Terry. Last year, Terry's a fifth-year senior. When I was in school, I was a redshirt sophomore. So, of course, for me, it was always having to get older guys to respect me and being able to get older guys to know that he's young, but he's still going to lead us. And that's just a process. That's earning trust. That's spending extra time in the film room, spending extra time in the weight room, spending time before practice and after practice so that they can see I'm taking it serious and working on my craft. And that's something that I take very, very much pride in, and I'm hoping that that's translating with the guys in the locker room. I definitely think that Jets are a very good defense, they're very active. Adams makes a lot of plays, and they do a really good job disguising coverages, being able to do different things out of different looks, and having guys doing different responsibilities. And it's a lot of different things as far as getting to different coverages, but it's just cover 2, cover 3, cover 1 at the end of the day. It's just how you get to it, and that will come with repetition throughout the week. And I feel like once we be able to recognize everything that they do, we'll be able to execute at a high level.
All right, this is Dwayne Haskins earlier today at Redskins Park. Look, 2 things about that video. Number one, that Barry Bonds earring. What's going on with that? I mean, like, seriously, like, what's that all about? He's got the little hanging cross of it. Nothing wrong with that's great and everything, but really? The Barry Bonds thing? Number 2 is I like exactly what he's saying. He's talking about leadership. You want to hear a young quarterback talk about leadership and leading his team. He's very self-aware, which I appreciate. You know, he's still learning his craft. He's still learning how to be a leader. Look, this is his what? How many months has it been since what? April? This is his 5th month of being a professional quarterback, and you know, more than half that time he has only been with, you know, this team as it currently stands right now. I mean, most of the other time he was with rookies or what have you. So I appreciate his self-awareness as far as, you know, his leadership is concerned. I wanted to go through a couple of grades. First off, I wanted to thank Jesse944 for joining us on Twitter, as well as BobVL34. Thank you again for joining us on Periscope, watching the show live. We appreciate your views and your comments or suggestions. All right, so I wanted to give a couple of grades for Dwayne Haskins. All right, so one is pocket awareness. You know, just basically knowing where he stands in the pocket, where the pressure is coming from, and his ability to, you know, elude the pressure and get out of situations where, you know, an expected sack is coming. I would kind of give him a B at that point. He seems to scramble when he needs to. It could be lower than that, but I you know, in some instances he has good footwork in order to get out of situations that he doesn't need to be in. And all of that does come with time. You know, he seems to scramble at the right times, which is really important. Although, and this is the only reason why this is not an A, some of those sacks against Buffalo, you know, that last one where he almost got crunched by, you know, a dude that was like 900 pounds, it seems as almost if he kind of ran out of the situation. He stood up trying to throw the ball, and it's almost like he stopped right before the guy was about to hit him. At that point, don't be the RG3. Yeah. Be the Tom Brady. Just fall. Just crumble like a stack of cards. Just get down. It's fine. Live to fight another day. And if you've noticed nowadays, when Tom Brady, if he even smells anybody else's sweat, he's just going down. It doesn't even matter. Because he realizes, look, 3rd down, I can always make a 3rd and 28. But I can't make a 3rd and 28 if I'm lying there on the ground, you know, with a broken whatever. Just saying. So I'd give him a B as far as pocket awareness is concerned. As far as reading defenses, and this is pretty much, you know, let's go with pre-snap defenses. I would kind of give him a B as well. It seems as if he kind of knows what he's doing. He doesn't, like Lake said, he doesn't audible as much. He doesn't have a full command of the playbook. And, you know, whose fault is that? You have to place the blame equally between him and the team and the coaches. At this point, it would be a 3-way tie between he, Callahan, and Jay Gruden. And I guess at that point, 4th would be Kevin O'Connell. So there's a lot of blame to go around. But regardless of the fact, at this point, he's a professional. You get your head in the books, which I'm. Look, when you have a young quarterback talk about he doesn't want to wear a wristband. We've seen that before here, Donovan McNabb. When he doesn't want to wear a full wristband with the plays and what have you, he wants to actually know the plays. He wants to tell everybody, like, I don't need this crutch. I want to go out on the field without a crutch. I respect that. That's fine. Hopefully he has the command of the playbook. We need him to have a command of the playbook. Okay, so reading defenses post-snap, I would give him a C. He seems to make errant throws. He has an arm. His mechanics as far as throwing are concerned are a little bit off. Yes, he does the sidearm thing like Mahomes and this, that, and other. But you saw Dak doing the whole thing before the Vikings game with the hip thing, the hip toss. When you're a quarterback, and I've played quarterback, when you play, it's all in the hips. It's like Chubbs. It really is. It's footwork, and it's in the hips. The most of your drive comes from your base. And that's where you get a lot of your velocity on the ball, or a lot of the drive is what they call it. A lot of drive on the ball is going to come from your legs. Where you're aiming it, that's your arm thing. So I'd give him a C on that. He although against Buffalo, he didn't make a major mistake like he had been earlier throwing interceptions. So that's why the grade isn't lower. He protected the ball against Buffalo. Now, mind you, he didn't throw for 300 yards, but protect the ball. That's what's important with this offense. They can't afford turnovers. They can't afford drive-stopping turnovers and coughing up the ball. Pass protection, I would also give that a C as well. Some of those sacks, it seemed to be that there was a free runner coming towards him, which at that point, as a quarterback, you need to shout out your protections in order to shift them over to cover basically all of your rushers. That he didn't do as well on a couple of plays where he ended up getting sacked. When that did happen, one of those plays, he ended up scrambling for a first down when he scrambled out to the left side of the line. So he needs to shore that up as well. So overall, I would give Dwayne a C on his performance against Buffalo. Again, did not make the major mistake, but there are a lot of things that he can improve on in order to hopefully get better. I mean, look, you're facing the Jets this week, which means you're facing Greg Williams, 2 Gs. Okay? So, he's going to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at a rookie quarterback. There are going to be a lot of zero blitzes, I expect, on Sunday. So Dwayne is going to have to be ready for those zero blitzes, and he's going to have to be ready to shout out those protections and to audible at the line for look. I don't understand why this doesn't happen more. If you audible, go ahead and audible to a 3-step stop pattern. You 1-step, throw, done. Receivers are good at this point. The cornerbacks are good as well. But if the cornerback doesn't know what's coming, go for it. Go for it. All right. Also wanted to go around the NFL. Let's see what's going on around in the NFL. Look, big weekend as far as upsets were concerned. Very surprising. The Chiefs ended up taking the L to the Titans. Like, what's going on here?
The Ryan Tannehill Titans.
The Ryan Tannehill Titans. Yes, there was a field goal block at the end, but the Chiefs they just look bad. I know my man Colvin Underwood is just like, he's doing the crying Jordan meme right now. But, look, would you rather be in the Chiefs situation or the Redskins situation? All right, Colvin? I'm just saying. All right, Falcons beat the Saints. That killed me as far as fantasy was concerned. Yep. I have Drew Brees. Bruh, come on. What are we doing here?
Waiting on you to come back.
I had Teddy Bridgewater. So I was cool. Teddy was, he was playing well. But they made Breeze look like he was, 60 years old. Who knew the Falcons defense could do that? They have a couple of games in them, but a couple of people have said, when it's a rivalry, that's exactly what happens. Leon Harris said that. He said, that's a big rivalry for the Falcons. They don't like the Saints. So
Falcons coming off a bye as well, so maybe a little bit there.
Yeah, I don't know if they were slowed down by that. You would figure that they'd be rested, but they obviously look slowed down. The Steelers beat the Rams. What is going on with the Rams? Like, what? Okay, we'll give the Steelers their credit. The defense played great. Mason Rudolph didn't throw up on himself. They utilized the running game. Does this sound familiar? Anybody? Rookie quarterback doesn't throw up on himself. Run the football very well, and a good, strong defense. Ding, ding, ding. That's what the Redskins are trying to do, aren't they? Let's see if they can execute this week against the Jets, like the Steelers did against the Rams. But the Rams look really bad. Jared Goff, I mean, I'm glad I don't have him on my fantasy team. That's exactly why I didn't draft him. He's still the quarterback that Jeff Fisher would not play. Okay? He's still, look, when is the last time Jeff Fisher had a good quarterback? Steve McNair. And he did well but he had McNair and Eddie George. But regardless, oh, boy, that Rams defense, what happened? What happened?
Best player in the NFL, Aaron Donald. Got to do more.
I mean, obviously he has to play offense and defense for that team to win. The Packers, they hold on to beat the Panthers. Christian McCaffrey, basically at the end of the game, was literally on the goal line, just couldn't do this. It was like the Titans Super Bowl. Yep. It was the same thing. Tackle 1 yard short of the goal line, game over, done. So the Packers, Packers looking pretty good. Okay, I mean they're one of those teams. Like they don't overwhelm you. They don't wow you, but they're always there at the end. I mean, even against the Chargers the week before, they were still in it, even though they were getting blown out.
So it's only beginning of November, and you saw that snow. Imagine if they get home field advantage throughout. New Orleans got to go up there. It's gonna be tough.
It's funny. You figure all of these players now, they're from the South, and they love all that warm weather. Wait till they get to Green Bay. Wait till they get to Green Bay. All right, Kirk Cousins finally wins a big game against Dallas. Oh, wait. I didn't want to bring that up, but I just did. The Ravens. Now, this is a great game. Lamar Jackson. Oh, boy. Whew. Okay. The RG3 effect is in full effect in Baltimore, okay? This is the good thing about not Dwayne Haskins, but Lamar Jackson. Lamar has RG3 there for questions or for advice, for guidance. He has John Harbaugh there for guidance. He had Joe Flacco there. I mean, what more could you ask for a young quarterback in order to, yes, RG3 didn't pan out, but at this point, he's just in Lamar's ear. Get down.
Yeah, what better person to have?
Get down. Get down. Throw the ball away. Don't do what I did. Yep. It's parenting 101.
Good move by the
Parenting 101. Yes. So Steve Bisciotti, Ozzie News, they knew what they were doing by getting RG3. They knew exactly what was going on by picking him up, a couple years ago and being the third string quarterback. It was for this moment right here to help Lamar Jackson grow up and be a successful NFL quarterback. He more than likely is going to win the MVP. It probably is between him, Russell Wilson, and maybe Christian McCaffrey. I mean, and this is a guy that everybody said. He's the old GM from the Colts, Bill Polian.
6-time executive of the year, by the way.
Said he's nothing more than a receiver. Nothing more than a receiver. Oh, boy. Bill. I mean, look, it's okay to be wrong, but to be that wrong. And loud wrong, I mean, I guess if you're going to be loud wrong, be wrong. But if you're going to be loud right, that's an instance where you want to be loud right. Everybody just wanted him to have a chance to be a quarterback. He had his chance to be a quarterback, and God bless him, he's doing great. All right, look, we're going to wrap up the show here, and after the break, I wanted to get in our I had a party the whole month of October. While I was gone, had a party. It's called the World Series. We'll talk about that and more as Redskins Relaunch wraps up after the break.
At DMVSTREAM.COM, we use state-of-the-art live streaming and video production tools to create an unparalleled viewing experience from local sporting events. Whether we're using our 12-foot HD broadcast production truck or employing one of our state-of-the-art flypack kits, our broadcasts always include multiple camera angles, instant replay, live scoring, graphics, and a complete broadcast crew working together to showcase the DMV's finest. Contact us today to learn more about our services and streaming packages. Visit us on the web at DMVSTREAM.com.
All right, welcome back as we wrap up this edition of Redskins Relaunch. listen. Again, like I said, thank you for everybody that watched the show while I was gone. The reason why I was gone was because I was playing in the World Series. Not really. If you've ever seen my Twitter page, I've posted a picture of myself side by side with Howie Kendrick. And apparently a lot of people that I know and that I've talked to said that I look like a lot like Howie Kendrick. I don't see it, but apparently I do, which is okay. Anyway, had a great World Series, had a great NLCS MVP.
It was a breeze.
Yeah, I mean, it was easy. 4 games, fine. St. Louis wasn't much, even though they did. Mike Schilt ended up winning Manager of the Year. Explain that to me. Yeah. Okay, well, explain that to me how oh gosh.
What is even nominated?
I understand these ballots are taken and before the end of the MLB season, but good gosh, you had a manager that ended up making the wild card. You had a manager that won the NL Central. Now, granted, he did have not necessarily the greatest of rosters, but and then you had who's the third manager of the year candidate in the NL? Was it
Braves? Snitker.
Oh, Snitker. Again, this is a manager that's coming off of an NL East division title. So, and then you have your fourth place guy, which is Dave Martinez, who started off 1931. Now, people push back and say, well, how did they get off to a 1931 start? He was the guy that led that, right? Yes, but he is also the guy that led them out of the 1931 hole in order to win, get to the wild card. Let's just get to the wild card first, because the wild card we knew at the end of the season the Nationals were going to be in. Did the Milwaukee manager Craig Counsell, did he lead his team from 1931 to the wild card? No, he did not. Did the Braves manager Snitker, did he lead them from 1931 to now mind you, he did win the NL East title, granted, but did he lead them from the depths of hell to a division title? No. And the St. Louis Cardinals manager, yes, they did have a tough time, but not 1931 tough. I'm just saying.
He didn't have a heart attack either.
He did. He didn't. He wasn't out for a couple weeks with a bad heart. Sorry, Davey. If I had a vote, I probably still would have voted for you. But I don't have a vote. Thanks, Baseball Writers of America. Go ahead. You know what? Go ahead and give me the lanyard. I'm here for that. I can help you out. I can help you out. NL Cy Young was awarded tonight. Jacob deGrom won. Max Scherzer came tied second with Hyun-Jin Ryu. Oh God, butchered his name already.
Ryu.
Yeah, Ryu. Hyun-Jin Ryu. That's it. Yes. So he and Max tied for second. Now, full agreement with that. That's fine. deGrom had a great season. Max, if it weren't for that hiccup, in the last, month of October, September, he would have been just fine. Mind you, yes, he had a great October, which we needed. Look, all right, here's the deal. Would you rather have a World Series title or Cy Young?
Especially with the guy who already has a couple.
He's already got 3. What would you rather have? That's a great question. We'll pose that again as well. What would you rather have, a World Series title or some kind of personal award? Craig Counsell of the Braves said on the MLB broadcast when they announced the Manager of the Year, he said, I'd rather have what Davey Martinez has, and that's a World Series title. That's what we're all working for, right? That was his quote. And you know what? I fully agree. And I'm sure most of you would too, even though it'd be nice to have a Cy Young and a Manager of the Year and the whole 9. So that the NL MVP will come out tomorrow. Anthony Rendon is in the running, although maybe not expected to win. It's Rendon, Christian Yelich, and Cody Bellinger. I'm going to go ahead and out on a limb and say it's probably Cody Bellinger again. Oh, not again, but it'll be Cody Bellinger. He had a great season. All 3 of those guys had a great season. Unfortunately, Rendon was just overshadowed. It's almost the Art Monk effect. If you remember Art Monk, he was great, very talented, produced numbers, just was not necessarily the most personable person as far as the media was concerned. So he never, ever got the spotlight. And we're in that case with the Rendon. He doesn't talk a lot to the media. And when he does, although some may not like it, he can tend to be a little bit, he can tend to be a little bit of a hard person to deal with. That's fine. That's okay. But he's good. He's funny. At least to me, he's funny when he's with the media and being difficult. He's not Greg Popovich difficult, but he's difficult to say the least. All right, look. Let's talk about this World Series run. Okay, you went from the wild card where Juan Soto, hit that double in the eighth inning in order to give the Nats the win. I mean, that's huge. There are a couple of moments that you're always going to remember as a Nationals fan when it comes to this team. The Soto play is going to be it. For me, it's going to be the Suzuki home run, the grand slam before the end of the season against the Mets. That's definitely one of them. Obviously, you have to go with Anibal Sanchez's no-hit bid going into the seventh against the Cardinals in the NLCS. You also have my man, and I called this. I called this on Twitter. I said, and this was after all of the errors and all the misplays that he had against the Dodgers in that series. In Game 5, I said, Howie Kendrick is going to be the hero. This was after he had made that error at second base. Said Howie Kendrick is going to be the hero. And when you know it, Soto, Rendon end up going back-to-back off of Kershaw, tying the game, and we go to extras. That was huge as well. And then all of a sudden, Kendrick, top of the 10th, grand slam. And I was like, vindicated. Funny story about that game, by the way. I was at home sleep or watching the game. I wasn't asleep. And all of a sudden, Tony
Kornheiser fall asleep.
Yeah, no. I stayed through the game. Sorry, Mr. Tony. I stayed through the game. But I'm watching the game. Lights are off. So all of a sudden, I'm looking on the wall, and I see this shadow. I'm like, what is this? It looked like almost like one of the, like a big cricket or something on the wall. So I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I turn the lights on. It's a frog on my wall. A frog is on my wall. Like, what is going on here? Inside the wall. Inside my house. It's about as big as my fist. And I'm like, what the world? So I wake up. And at this point, there's no bug spray for a frog. And the way I used to handle rodents was get a bat and start bashing things. That probably would not have been pretty good. You end up with a hole in your wall. So I said, okay, we got to do something here. So I grab a trash can. And I said, okay, well, I got to trap this thing because we're going to have to deal with this. This was before the Howie home run. Matter of fact, this was before the top of the ninth. So I almost equate this to this. If I had not caught that frog, the Nats would not have won. So anyway, I catch the frog with the trash can against the wall. So at this point, I'm like, all right, well, let me make sure I get the frog at a point where I can get it. Because at this point, I was on a chair up high on the wall in order to grab the frog. Bring the frog down, keeping the trash can top on the wall to keep him trapped against the wall. Bring him down all the way to the floor or almost to the floor. And at that point, I'm like, all right, I got a pickle because you can't necessarily flip over the trash can because the frog is just going to bounce. He's gone. So at that point, I'm like, all right, I got to figure something out here. So what ended up happening was I ended up basically trying to just snatch the trash can off and take a plastic bag and catch the frog. That was not a great idea. So it took the frog bounced around a couple of times. I mean, he was almost about to get away, and I was like, all right, I literally threw the trash can on him on the floor again. So I caught him twice, thank goodness. And at that point, I was like, all right, I felt a little bit more confident because there was no 90-degree angle in which I had to overcome in order to catch this frog. So at this point was easier to take the trash can off and trap him with the plastic bag. So ended up catching the frog and took him outside. At that point, it wasn't 10 degrees outside. So I took him outside and released him into the wild. I don't know where he is, but he better not be in my house anymore. But that was my frog story from the Howie Kendrick Game 5 of the Nationals versus Dodgers. Went back in the house. That's when Howie Kendrick was coming. Clayton Kershaw was coming into the game. I was like, oh, man, this is good because it wasn't Rich Hill. It was Walker Bueller was in the game. And we were like, yeah, this kid, he was untouchable that game 5. He was untouchable.
And they're going to bring in Maeda, who was untouchable.
You were
against us,
bringing in
too.
Maeda. You were bringing in the other guy,
They brought Kershaw
the other
instead.
guy that kept on striking out Soto. I can't remember his name. The left-hander that kept on striking
From
out.
Maryland, yeah.
Yes, that guy. You were bringing in, and then you bring in Kershaw. I'm like, oh, this is great because, yeah, you didn't want to see Maeda. You didn't want to see the other left-hander. You wanted to see anybody else but those 3 guys, Bueller, Maeda, and the other left-hander. So they brought in Clayton Kershaw, and, the rest is history. Then you had the series against the Cardinals, which was, it was complete domination. I think after that first game when Sanchez had a no-hitter going into the 7th, St. Louis was done at that point.
That Zimmerman catch was a cool moment, too, that diving one to preserve the no-hitter.
Absolutely. And then you get to the World Series, and Zimmerman hits the first home run in Nationals World Series history. You can get better than that. Obviously, they did, but that was such a cool moment. And then, just going down to Nats Park that whole weekend where they had the World Series here. The city was just electric. It was just alive. So kudos to all of you Nats fans and, part-time Nats fans that just decided to come out and, do what you do. The bandwagoners. It's fine. There's enough room on the bus. There is enough room on the bus. I just wanted to tip my hand and a golf clap for everybody that, made their way out to Nats Park, whether it be during the season, as well as during the playoffs, as well as the World Series. So good job to all of you Nats fans and what have you. We can talk about the parade. We can talk about the White House. We can talk about the Caps game. I guess my thing was, which team did it better? The Caps or the Nats? Who had the better celebration?
For me, it's the Caps still, just because of the whole theatrical part of it, just going the fountain, stuff like that. But, I thought it was the coolest thing about all this was the picture of the Caps on the Nats field last year with the Stanley Cup, and then they had the same picture of the Nats on the Caps ice with the World Series. That was just, DC is champions now, and A-Rod and all those guys, Wilbon can just go away.
Yeah, everybody knows how I feel about A-Rod. He's a cheater, will always be a cheater, but he's got J-Lo, so I guess he's winning. Yes, DC, District of Champions, okay? It's okay. Let it seep in. Let it sink in, DC. It's all right. We can do this. The Mystics, Natasha Cloud's tweet was very funny, by the way. She said, the Caps had tweeted out a picture of, basically of the Nationals, District of Champions, 2018 Capitals, and then 2019 Nationals. No mention of the Mystics, and the Natasha Cloud lit into the Capitals' social media staff, which she has every right to do. I agree with her. Look, okay, sure, it's not one of the 4 major sports. It is you know what it is? It's basketball. Okay, there it is. It's basketball. All right, give the Mystics their props. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think it's the Caps, simply because of the fountain. Yep. I was waiting for some kind of Soto, or Gerardo Power just out somewhere, just crazy, doing something crazy. Was waiting for it. My suspicion is that the front office, you can't do that. You're not OV. You don't have that cachet yet.
Hockey's not baseball.
Hockey's not baseball, and baseball's not hockey. So you could do it at the Caps game, which they definitely did. If you've seen any of the Twitter videos of them afterwards, after the game on the ice, it's after midnight. They're drunk as I don't know what on the ice, just playing hockey, shirts off and the whole 9. Yep. It's fantastic. It's great. It is great. So congrats to the Nats. Oh, man, what a season. What a season. Can't wait for next year. It's going to be, I can't wait for next year because we don't know what's happening with Rendon or Strasburg.
That could have been part of the downer on the celebration is you just don't know.
You just don't, and it's happened hours, within days of, they haven't even finished celebrating yet, and you get the news that they have declined the option on Zimmerman. So you're like, oh, they give the people a chance to celebrate the dang on championship. My gosh. All right, back to Redskins. Keys to the Jets. Sacks, and more sacks. Okay? Defense has got to step up. They've got to step up. They got to show improve. They got to get pressure on Sam Darnold. We want him to see ghosts. Remember that game against the Patriots where he threw like 28 interceptions? That's what this team is going to need this weekend against the Jets, and they're going to need to run the ball. AP, a good dosage of AP as well as Geis. get that pressure off of Dwayne Haskins. He should not have to throw the ball. If he throws the ball 40 times, it's not going to be a good day. Not going to be a good day at all. All right, with that said, let's get out of here. We're not going to do any more overtime. Thank you very much for watching. Again, for each and every episode, archive episode of Redskins Relaunch, you can go to DMVSTREAM.COM for each and every episode of Redskins Relaunch. You can also catch us on our Facebook page at DMVSTREAM.COM, as well as you can catch me on the Twitter, Sports Talk, NC8. Catch me right there. You can also catch us on Twitter at DMVSTREAM.COM. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching on Periscope as well. We also have those live broadcasts. We'll hopefully be back up on Facebook next week. We will work out our issues, and we'll be with you again this time next week, where we're hopefully talking about a Redskins win and maybe a Dwayne Haskins first touchdown. Redskins haven't scored a touchdown in over a month. Yep. Ooh. Dwayne, we need a touchdown, buddy. All right, with that said, we bid you adieu. Bye-bye, everybody.
This content is brought to you by Dental Associates. For more than 39 years, Dr. Stephen Price has been practicing dentistry in Northern Virginia.